We'll start today all the way back in your chair, please. And let's begin with just a few shoulder circles going backwards. And then we want to keep those shoulders back and down. We're going to bring the palms together, open and close through the shoulders. So we're not just moving the arms here, we're squeezing with the upper back and opening through the chest. Next time your arms are open, keep them open, hold it here, press your chin forward and pull your chin back. We'll do that several times. Think of it like you're kicking out the piece of candy in a Pez dispenser and then pulling your head right back in place. Let's do that one more time and then hold it. We're going to stretch to the right and the left. If you're adding on, reach overhead as you stretch. We'll alternate side to side. From here, take a pause in the middle. We're going to keep the arms pressing back and lean back against your chair. Continue to lift your chest as you look up, and then press your hands forward and round your shoulders. Inhale, pull your arms back, lift your chest. Exhale, press your hands forward, round your shoulders. One more time, in and up, out and down. And then come up to a neutral spine with your arms out front. Let's rotate the shoulders left and right. So again, we're not just moving our arms, we're allowing our upper back and shoulders to move. And then we'll take a pause in the middle. From here, you can find your armrests and scoot your bum forward to the edge of your chair. Bring your feet flat on the floor. Make sure you have your tail tucked, head up, long collarbone, please. And then we'll pump the ankles several times. And if you're having trouble seeing me, slide your chair to the left or the right. We'll keep our feet flat on the floor and then open and close through the hips. Keep your chin tucked. Pause in the middle. Bend your elbows. We're going to march our feet and swing our arms just like we're walking. Now, you know you're doing it right if you can tap your opposite leg. Very good. Stay tall. And pause in the middle. We'll press both arms back, way back, lift the chest. Press your heels down, drive your knees out. Keep your chin tucked. We'll lean forward and sit up several times. Our goal here is to have a flat back. We're working the muscles in the backs of the thighs. And you might feel this a little bit in your lower back, but it should just be muscle soreness. There should not be any pain with this movement. If you ever have pain during class, please take a break. Don't do that one. Let's do one more. And then sit all the way up. Bring your palms together at your chest. We'll point and flex the fingers. And then if you're adding on, let's move your head the opposite way. So fingers go right, ears go left. Fingers go left, ears go right. We'll do that a couple times. And then pause in the middle. Press your fingers forward, lift your head up. And then pull your fingers back and drop your head down. Forward and up, back and down. One more each. And pause in the middle. Last warm-up stretch. Take your left arm, pull it back, look to the right. Back to middle. Take your right arm, pull it back, look to the left. Back to middle. Two more on each side. And once you're balanced, you can pause and rest those hands down to your laps. Please pick up your weights. Very good. As you're ready, I'm just taking a small look around the room, and I see that we need to make a quick adjustment. So if you're ready, please work on sitting up straight, chin is tucked, shoulders back, all the things. And we'll just take some deep breaths here with great posture, please. I'm going to give you a quick tug over here. That way I can see you. And I'm going to scoot you, actually, why don't we just get this chair out of the way? I'm going to scoot you so that you can see me.
I moved over. I can see now.
You can see the chair?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're comfortable. Yes, ma'am. All right. So we have our weights up and down on our thighs. And let's start to pump the ankles. So I thought I'd do something special today. Everyone seems to really like when I tell the stories, and they're fun for me too. I get to share all my experiences. So what I thought I'd tell you about today are the upcoming World Short Track Championships in Montreal. Go ahead and keep your feet flat. We're going to tap the arms left and right. Head up, shoulders back. Nice long collarbone, just like that. So this year being an Olympic year, I can tell you from experience, it is very difficult to go from all of the hype of being at the Olympics and then still have a whole month left of your season where you have to peak one more time for World Championships. From here, let's keep the left hand on top and hold it. We're going to pull the left elbow back as you open through the chest, very good, tap and pull back. But even on a non-Olympic year, the World Championships are always a high-pressure event because that is how athletes secure their funding for their next season. And it's not just dollars and cents kind of funding. Let's take a pause here and switch sides. Now that right elbow comes back as we open the chest. So there is monetary funding that athletes can qualify for at World Championships, but there's also benefits like having your coaching covered or your ice costs. Athletes can also qualify for elite athlete health insurance through the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. Let's take a pause with your weights stacked. Bring both hands back to your thighs and turn your palms up. Shoulders back, lift your chest, and then we'll bicep curl. My first World Championships, I was 18 years old. It was my second year training at Marquette, Michigan. So when I was in high school, I moved to Marquette, Michigan. It was about 7 hours away from my hometown in Illinois. And we trained like full-time athletes. Let's keep both of the palms down. I want just the left arm up and out to the side, and then your right arm down. Open the chest, nice and tall. Tuck your chin. Easy option, pump your ankles. Hard option, march your feet. So my first World Championships was in Milan, Italy, which was very fun for me to just, as my first big event, and now I just finished working, an equally big event. Let's keep the feet flat, switch the arms, nice tall chest. Same idea, easy option, pump the ankles. Hard option, march your feet. So at my first World Championships, I was an alternate. I was the only non-member of the national team, so I had no experience racing with the group. Let's keep our feet flat and drop your weights down to your thighs. We're going to step the feet out, not super wide, but a little wider than normal. Press the heels down, press the knees out, lift your chest nice and tall. We'll do our hip hinges, forward and back. Remember to keep a long collarbone. It's like you're poking your head out a window with nice tall posture. So I got to go on a week-long training camp in Colorado Springs, Colorado, before we left for Milan. I had never been at altitude before, and if you're familiar with altitude, there's less oxygen at altitude, which means you need significantly more rest and recovery time in between your sets of workouts. You also need significantly more sleep for your body to recover from those workouts. A lot of speed skating programs like to train at altitude because that lower density oxygen in the air It also makes the ice particles freeze closer together, and it makes for faster ice. Let's do one more, and then we'll sit all the way up, bring those feet back to neutral, and we'll start back at the beginning, pumping our ankles. So I tried hard, guys, but I did not belong on that team at that time. But it was my first time traveling with Apollo Anton Ono, so that was a big deal. I felt like I'd really made it. It was the highest level of competition you could possibly reach as an athlete at that time, and even still, beyond the Olympics. Let's keep the feet flat on the floor. Bring the palms up on your thighs, nice and tall. Bicep curl. So I was in way over my head, but I still went to Milan. I remember at that time, I'd traveled international before, but only twice. So I was very adventurous in my eating. I knew I wasn't probably going to get to race because I was so young and inexperienced. So, Apollo and all the bigwigs at the time, they're eating their grilled chicken breast and their steamed broccoli and rice and all of that. And I'm going to these Italian restaurants and just pointing at the menu like, I'll try this. So one time I got a large wheel of cheese. Didn't mean to, I just pointed at something on the menu and that's what I ended up ordering, with a couple vegetables on the side. Let's take a pause here. You can bring your weights back straight up and down, and we'll alternate tapping weights on top. Another time I pointed randomly at the menu and I got a platter of whole fish with tails and eyes and gills and all the things. I stopped just pointing after that. Then I actually started to take some time to read the menu and find out what's good to eat, what's appropriate for an athlete to eat. I did have a teammate there who ordered the carbonara, and I will say that has been a favorite for me ever since that very first trip. So whenever I'm going out for a celebration, I want to treat myself to something that's not that healthy. Carbonara has a soft spot in my heart. Let's take a pause with the left hand on top. Hold it here. We'll pull the elbow back and lift the chest. If you'd like to add on slightly to this movement, you can rotate your shoulders as you pull the elbows back. That just incorporates more of your core muscles. Now, the last thing I got to do before races started, and I'll tell you, I wouldn't have done this if I had more information. Let's pause in the middle and change your weights over to the left. Pull that right arm back, open the chest. If you're adding on, you can rotate your shoulders. So it's Thursday in Milan. Races start Friday, but relay races don't start until Saturday. And I'm not there as an individual. I'm there as an alternate. I will be lucky if I get to skate the relay. So the other alternate, relay alternate, and I, let's pause here. Take your weights back to your thighs. Step your feet out wide. Heels down, knees out. Here's easy. Here's hard. Take your pick. Nice tall chest. Like you're looking out a window, lean forward and sit up. Very good. So we think we have a couple days till races start. So we went to the downtown Milan area. We shopped all the shops. My mom told me to buy myself a nice purse while I was there, but I just couldn't do it. Because we are not talking about Coach or Dooney and Burke. We are talking about Prada and Hermes and just all of these incredibly fancy brands that I told my mom when I got home, I didn't get a purse, but it would have cost $1,500 for a wallet. And she said, oh, thank goodness you didn't buy yourself a purse. So come all the way up, bring your weights back on your thighs, keep your feet out wide. The left foot's going to step in and out. We also stopped for gelato, which I think was my first time having gelato. I grew up in the Midwest, so I've had soft serve and I've had custard, but I'd never had gelato. It was wonderful. But we did do a lot of walking. We ate an extra scoop of gelato, and we stayed out a little late. And when we got back to the hotel, there was a meeting our coaches has called. Let's do one more. Keep your left foot out. Now the right foot can pulse in and out. Coaches called a meeting, and we went to it, and they said, change in schedule. Relays are tomorrow. And we've just spent all day walking around not doing what athletes do the day before a race, not eating the right food, not taking the appropriate amount of rest. And gosh darn it, did that make me nervous. So that was probably the first time, no, not the first time, I really got into my head at that point as an athlete. Let's keep those feet out nice and wide. And then we're going to bring our feet back to neutral. Kick the left foot forward. You can tap your heel and then step, or if that's easy for you, you can kick and bend without tapping the floor. So the next day we had our warm-up ice, and like I said, I was just nervous. It was my first time. I felt like I was just a kid out there. I did not get picked to race the relay. Go ahead and drop that foot down. We'll switch to the other side. Right heel and step, or keep the foot lifted, kick and bend. But what I did get to do was see multiple of my teammates competing in the A final at World Championships. That means you're in the top, depending on the distance, the top 5 or 6 in the world at that distance. Go ahead and drop that foot down. And I also got to see Apolo Ohno even win some races at that event. Let's take our left arm up to the shoulder, right arm out to the side. Nice tall posture. Pump your ankles or march your feet. So that was back in the day of calling cards, I remember. It's funny how the times have changed so much. Now you can be on an international data plan just with a click of a button. But back then it took a lot of time and effort to make calls home. Go ahead and keep your feet flat. Switch your arms, nice and tall. Easy ankles. If you want a challenge, march your feet. So I called home and told my parents about my trip, but that wasn't the only competition that we were traveling for. We also had the World Team Championships, and those were in Budapest, Hungary. Go ahead and keep your feet flat on the floor, drop those arms down, and we'll take one weight off to the side and hold your other weight horizontally at your chest. Now, with my speed skating background, that's where I get a lot of our core moves from. So we'll start with our tail tuck and then lift. If you watched the Olympics, if you watched short track or long track, you noticed how the skaters race with a rounded lower back. And that's because our core muscles can generate more power when we've got that, it's called contraction, when we're contracting them in a certain way. Let's tuck the tail and hold it and add on some sit-ups. So World Team Championships, I did get to race. That was some of my first senior international experience. I still wouldn't say I was very good, but that's how you get started, right? Is by making those mistakes and learning the lessons. One thing I did get to do in Budapest, we went out shopping, much more affordable shopping, a very clean and beautiful downtown. We went out to eat and one of my teammates got frog legs. So talk about just pointing to the menu and being happy with whatever you get. She seemed to know what she was getting though, and she let me try one. Shockingly delicious. I won't say they're like chicken, but they're a little like chicken. Go ahead and give me one more sit up and then hold it at the top. I want your weight in your left hand and your right arm out to the side. Some easy options. We can just rotate right and left. We could add a march with the right knee, or we could lower that left hand and meet the knee in the middle. Let's do that several times. 3 more. And then take a pause. From here, we'll switch the weight over to the other side. Drop that left arm nice and tall. Easy, just a twist. Medium, add a march. Hard, drop that hand across your body and tap the knee as you lift. So at the time, I had been training in Marquette, Michigan. I had one teammate with me named Kimberly. And we found out while we were on this trip, you can pause in the middle. Let's take our weights back to front. Tuck your tail and sit up tall. We'll do several rounds of that before we add our sit-ups. So we found out shortly, we knew that the U.S. Speed Skating National Governing Body, we knew they were hiring a new coach. We got to meet that new coach while we were traveling that weekend. What we didn't know is that when we came home, our team that we trained on in Michigan was getting an overhaul. The coaches were kicked out, the ice time was adjusted, and we were basically told, look, you gotta go. You gotta move on and find somewhere else to train. Tuck your tail and hold it. Let's lean back and sit up. That was also the first year that U.S. Speed Skating offices were moving from the Colorado Springs Training Center to the Utah Olympic Oval. So we were part of the very first group ever to move out to Utah to train on the new national team with the new head coach. And there was just a few of us from Michigan who actually qualified to get to move there right in the beginning and train at that level. From here, let's sit all the way up and put your weight back in your left hand. Pull those arms out to the side. Easy option, twist. Medium, add a march. Hard, reach your hand across. So that coach's name was Jae-Soo Chun. And just by being at World Championships, I had qualified to receive an invite to the team in Utah that he would be training. And I remember my first day at the rink. Let's take a pause here and switch sides. We'll go quickly through the options. Easy, medium, march, hard, add the upper body movement. And it must have been my first or second day at practice when I went into his office and I said, look, coach, I will work harder than anyone that you have ever met, but you have to promise to keep an eye on my numbers and not let me overtrain myself. Because my previous coach, he didn't care if you got hurt, he didn't care if you were tired, he didn't care if you were sick. He didn't care about you. He only cared if you could win races or not. Let's take a pause in the middle. Bring those feet back to neutral. Now we're holding this weight in our fingertips. I've got it between my middle and ring finger on both sides, so do your Star Trek move, and then let that weight fall straight down, like we do, heels down, knees out. We're going to lean forward and sit up. And I would say for several years, my coach kept that promise. We kept our promise to each other. I'll work harder than anyone you've ever met. You remember me. Don't let me get lost in the crowd. Don't take advantage or abuse my willingness to push myself. Help me make the strides that I need to make. Be my coach. So that was the same coach that was the head coach at the Olympics in 2010. In 2010, my team was the only team in U.S. speed skating history where every single athlete won a medal. Several of us won more than one. Let's do one more and then come all the way up. Drop that weight off to the side. And we'll bring the left knee up to your chest. Give yourself a hug. Go ahead and circle the left ankle. And then change directions. Not only did we have an incredibly successful finish as a short track team, point and flex your ankle, even still, that is the most medals ever won by a Team USA delegation at a Winter Olympics. We won 37 medals. My medal was number 36. Let's windshield wipe the toes, left and right. And then drop that foot down. Now the right knee can come up. Give yourself a hug. Circle the ankle. And change directions. Now this year, we thought that that record was going down at the 2026 Olympics. Point and flex. However, that record did not get broken. 2010 is still the most medals ever won by the U.S. team at a Winter Olympics. You can windshield wipe your toes. However, Milan Cortina was the most gold medals ever won by the USA in a Winter Olympics. So it did break a record, but thankfully not my record. I can still hold on to that one and say that I was a part of it. Go ahead and drop your foot down. Bring your hands on your thighs. As you inhale, pull your elbows back and lift your chest up. Keep your chin tucked. Take a big breath here. And then press your hands forward, round your shoulders, look down. One more big breath. Come back to neutral. And take both arms back. I want your left hand to reach to your right knee, and then gently twist your upper body to the right. As you hold and breathe, I'll tell you my next little bit of this story. First, you have to switch. We'll take the right hand over to the left, twist, take a breath, and then come back to middle. We're going to drop the right arm down. If you're adding on, stretch the left arm over, and then come back to middle, lean to the left, and stretch the right hand over. Take a breath, and then come back to middle, drop both hands down. I'll have you take your left hand and rub your thigh front to back. Take your right hand and tap your thigh. And just try to do that while I tell you a story here. So another record was broken in 2026. A female U.S. skater named Corinne Stoddard got a bronze medal in the 1500. Not only was that the first medal ever in the 1500 to be won by an American female in short track. Let's switch sides. Right hand front to back, left hand tap. It was the first medal by an American female since my medal in 2010. It had been 16 years since a woman from the short track program won a medal. And when I won in 2010, it had been 16 years since Kathy Turner and Amy Peterson podiumed together at the 1994 Olympics. Go ahead and take a break. I do not think it'll be another 16 years. Corinne Stoddard is going 4 more years. She will be in France. So I have a feeling we'll be on a bit of a run with Olympic medals here for the next several cycles. Now, before we finish all the way up, we have a few more stretches. Kick your left foot forward, bring your hands on your hips, sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in. Exhale, lean forward until you feel a stretch. Hold it there as you take a breath. Sit all the way up and open the arms. We're taking the right arm on top, give it a hug, and lean forward one more time. As you hold it here, can you circle your right wrist? Change directions. And pause, sit all the way up and switch. Let's start with the hands on the thighs. We'll just stretch the legs. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale forward, hold and breathe. As you inhale again, sit all the way up and open the arms. We'll take the left arm uncrossed this time, give it a hug. Inhale tall, exhale stretch and hold. If you can add on, circle your left wrist. And change directions. Take a pause, sit all the way up and drop the hands down. We're going to take both pinky toes down to the floor and then press those knees out to the side. If you'll watch me for just a moment, please do not round your shoulders, but instead continue to lift your chest and tuck your chin. If you are very flexible, you might be able to drop down to your elbows. Some people can, some people can't. Just do what feels good for you. Take one more deep breath here. And then come all the way back up and plant the feet. Last stretch, touch your right shoulder and lift your elbow. As long as you can stay tall, add a push on that right side. Stretch your fingertips all the way towards your shoulder blades as best you can. And then we'll drop both arms down. Other side, touch your left shoulder and press up. Give yourself a push. Our goal is tall posture and ears to biceps. So over time, I want your bicep muscle to come all the way in line with your ear on that side. Very good. Let's drop the arms down. Bring your palms together. Thank you for joining me. Have a great rest of your day.